Hello, hello everyone. This is episode 12, and thank you for watching today's webinar on emotional intelligence and storytelling. My name is Baika, and I'll be your guide through this journey. We're going to be delving deeper into the concept of emotional intelligence. Now, emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize and understand our emotions in ourselves and other people's emotions. Storytelling is a powerful tool that can help us connect with others on a deeper level. Today, we'll explore how these two concepts intersect and how we can use storytelling to teach children about empathy. And we have a wonderful, wonderful children's author, Dagmara. She's going to be speaking. And thank you for accepting my invitation. And let's welcome her on our show. Thank you, Dagmara, for accepting my invitation. Thank you for joining. I'm so happy to have you. And this is a very, very different topic about emotional intelligence and empathy. I've been always wondering about empathy, and it's like, how do you teach empathy from to children from a very, very young age? So I'm so excited about today's topic, and I want you to introduce you to all of our audience. But before we go into our main topic, I want you to give us a full background about who you are as an author and as an individual.
Thank you for having me here. I'm very honored to be at your podcast and talk about emotional intelligence. My name is Dagmara Sitek, and I'm a Polish Canadian children's book author, and I'm focusing on empathy in my books. So I am originally from Poland. I live 3 years in Beijing, China, where I work in computer games industry. But and my whole life, almost professional life, I've been working in performance marketing. So I manage very big budgets for big companies on TikTok, on Amazon, and Meta. But apart from that, I have this passion for written words, for books, and I am a mom myself. So I started writing books 3 years ago, and I've written three and published three books from the series Courage Tales. And I have another couple of books in progress, currently securing my book agents. So there's been a lot of going on. My background is in marketing, but my heart is in the storytelling. And my hobbies and interests are tennis and also psychology. I love educating myself about psychology, and it also helped me in understanding psychology of children and their development, and of course, emotional intelligence.
That was such an amazing full background about yourself. I was in a very short amount of time. I feel like I already know you. And I feel like there's just so many wonderful, amazing backgrounds about you. How computer gaming. I lived in Beijing. And I also relate to you. I used to live in Beijing as well. So maybe we can do like a whole another chapter on computer gaming, right? So that's like a very, very interesting background that you have with marketing and storytelling. And it's such a wonderful, wonderful message that you want to use your background and knowledge and wisdom for children. And this is my platform is just exactly for the future generation and a lot of teachers that work with children. And I'm also extremely honored to have you. And I feel like your message, how from a marketing perspective for teachers that are watching my video, they can apply these tools and small like tweaks to their lessons, right? During because we have a lot of reading in classes, and I believe that this is going to be very helpful to a lot of educators out there. Which moving on to about your writing journey. So we know I have a little bit background about your marketing, but how did you get into writing? What are your writing styles, and where do you get most of your ideas from?
Yes, these are all very great questions, and they will also explain why I'm writing about foster children and vulnerable children. I started writing couple of years ago, when I heard about very tragic story of a little boy, 8 years old boy, who was unfortunately abused so severely in Poland by his stepfather that he died in the hospital after fighting for his life for over 35 days. And the story was so shocking that even Polish legislation was changed to support children who are victims of domestic abuse. And since then, I started supporting more foundations that was created in the name of this boy, Kamilek Mrozek. But I also started writing books, and all of my books are dedicated to to this boy and other children who are very vulnerable. So I decided to write books about children in foster care because there is a lot of very unfair stigma around children in foster care, and they are just children who were just brought to this world in very unfavorable circumstances. It's absolutely not their fault. That they have so many challenges in their biological families. So I want to show through my books that they are resilient and that they are great role models for children how to overcome their challenges because their challenges are real and are very big. So if children can be resilient and still have a life and overcome these challenges, this is the best role model that we can have in life for our children who sometimes take advantage of us parents and maybe sometimes are not even grateful for what they have. So I really wanted to create this message of resilience. So my style is a very direct style. I very often use speech bubbles and I use a lot of dialect, just a little bit of narration, not too much, because I use a little bit of a style of Dogman. It's a very famous series, Dogman, of the comic book created by Dave Pilkey, but I do something like this just in a more deeper level because I talk about emotions, about difficult topics, and some emotional journey. So my style is a graphic novel picture book. And my books are a little bit longer than regular picture books. They have around 50 pages because it's difficult to write all of these emotional journeys in 30 pages. But I have also big format of the book, 8 by 10. So there are big, beautiful books with wonderful illustrations by a Danish illustrator, Lau Frank. And where do I get my ideas? My ideas come from life. I have a lot of inspiration from the stories that we hear on the internet, in the news, and I just take them and digest them and create the story that I want children to relate to. So actually, many of my characters are based on real characters, but of course, I cannot show their names or their real stories that happen to them. So I always change it. I always try to add some also fantastical moments. I like to merge reality with fantasy. So, for example, in my second book, one of the characters is creating a robot to help children in hospital, children in need. Or in my third book, kids are jumping into a computer game to save the parents from the hands of a revengeful goblin. So I like to merge these two words to make writing more attractive, engaging, and interactive for children.
That was such an amazing speech. Like I enjoyed every part, and it's so inspiring how you took your skill, your job, and again, are trying to raise awareness, speak about an issue that maybe a not a lot of people talk about, but this is going to be a very important topic for our audience and any people that are out there. If you want to use this book in your classroom to teach students about empathy. And I feel like you brought up a very nice phrase. It said there's a lot of unfair stigma. And I think while I was listening to your introduction, I was thinking of like this can be a very good book to teach children about inclusivity, about diversity. So maybe teachers who are looking for a book for SEL, but like this is a very good book, and how you want to teach children about resilience and their challenges are big. I feel like that line was very powerful, and which is situations that are facing is not their fault. So also, if this is a young person that's listening to this podcast, we want to like assure you that we are here. There are a lot of people that care for you. That if you are going through like domestic violence or any problems, that you can always send us a message or discuss about these issues. And this book is going to be a very good role model. And if you don't have a person to talk to, you can go refer back to these characters, right? So there's this is you can look at fictional characters and see them as your role model. So I feel like this book is both for teachers and also for younger teenagers or any audience that are going through issues such as this. So moving on, that was an excellent presentation. That leads us to the we kind of talked about the books. So we've talked about the writing process. Where can we find the book?
So the book is available actually all across the internet because I publish it in many online stores. So of course it's available on Amazon, in Barnes and Noble, online in Target, Walmart. But really, if you add the name in the search, Loris opens up his heart, you will also see different local stores, also in the Philippines, everywhere that are where the book is available. Additionally, because I have friends in the Philippines, uh, and I want to spread this book more into Asia, and the Philippines is also like the first country I'm doing this. I printed a lot of beautiful copies in the Philippines, and now the book is also available on Shopee in the Philippines, and also hopefully will be available in school since I'm in the talks of new partnership in the Philippines. So I want to sell these books in the schools. So yes, it is available in many places online. Hopefully will be also available in the bookstores, but that's just a longer process for newly published books. So yes, just add it in the search. Loris opens up his heart, and you will see it in the many different places, also locally.
Thank you, thank you. So I wish you all the best in your journey, in your future business journey. I wish you all the best and have a lot of hope for the book. Again, just for our audience reminder, the message behind the book is to teach empathy, how to teach social awareness. So it brings up a lot of important topics, which leads us to our next, moving on to the next topic. We want to talk about the main content of the book.
Yes, so when it comes to content of the book, there is a storyline of the main character called Loris. He's an 8-year-old boy who is entering a new foster home, and he has a very difficult time to adjust in this new place. As you see on the cover, this is the boy in the middle. He's always wearing a black hoodie. And this is a symbol of him trying to hide himself from harm of the world that he experienced in his previous home. So he's entering this home, the new foster home that is very loving, but he's not ready to accept love because he didn't experience this love in the past. He only experienced abuse and death of his parents. So he has a lot of trauma, and even though his new foster siblings, Inaya and Cam, they're also foster children, they give him a lot of attention and kindness. They will need to wait for Loris to open up his heart. As the title states, the book is about Loris opening up slowly his heart to others and trusting people again. So there is a big milestone when Loris is fighting with a big bully. And this is something that I could compare to the fight of Goliath and David. So he's like this little David fighting with a big bully, and all that to protect his foster siblings that were attacked by this bully. So this little boy with this trauma and difficult past who didn't want to engage in this foster siblings when there is this difficult moment, when when they are bullied by the bully, he is actually there for them to protect them and fighting with the bully. So this is the moment when they starting to talk, when they become friends, and when Loris start being engaged with them in their life. And these foster children, Inaya and Cam, they do a lot for the charity. They help raise money for their sick friend Susie. So Loris decided to help them to get engaged in this beautiful charity. And all together, they are leading the charity race. And after many challenging and difficult situations during the race, Loris is taking the lead and actually is winning this race, which is the moment when he's taking off his hoodie and symbolically becomes a different person, transforming himself into this resilient boy who believes that he can achieve anything, that he's not fearing his past, that he's free freeing himself from these difficult experiences and starting a new life. So this is a very symbolic moment in this book when he's winning this charity race, because this is the time when he started believe in himself again, and he do something in teamwork with his new foster siblings. And the last scene is this moment when they visit the sick friend in the hospital. They talk about how they won this race, how they raised all this money for her. So now she can have her open heart surgery because she was a very sick girl. And this also is to show that Loris, through helping others, through showing compassion and empathy, opens up his heart to others and becomes a different person. And he also feels for the first time like he belongs in the new foster home.
What an amazing plot and message. So I could see the whole like picture in my head. And while I was listening to your explanation, I thought of a student that told me yesterday. She was telling me about how she struggles to bond with others. And she was also telling me that some days she wakes up and just hates every human. So this is a topic that we were talking with my students yesterday, and I asked them, "Is there a time that you feel like you hate all humans?" And 3 out of 5 said yes. So it's like a very common feeling that I think a lot of younger teenagers or maybe like even children go through. They don't know how to regulate their emotions. And this book is going to be definitely, like you said, a great model, a great symbolism for students to show that bad days are not forever. There are going to be days that you'll win, right? Even if you feel like you've lost someone or something today, there are going to be days that you're going to win. So I like how that whole like timeline unravels, and I feel like the message from an author is you're trying to teach students that there is hope, that
Yes.
everything is not going to be bad forever, right? So I feel like it was a very heartfelt plot and message. And which, moving on to our next topic, is I think you are the main messages you want to teach children empathy, right? Through the story. This, by reading the book, I hope students do learn that empathy is very important. You want to help anyone that's around you. If you see someone struggling, help them out. Like even if you help someone, it's gonna make you feel altruistic. It's gonna make you feel give you that little bit of dopamine, when you feel like, I made someone else's day, so this is going to be helpful. So last topic for teachers who want to use this book in their classroom: how can reading teach children empathy, and how can storytelling be helpful for a lot of teachers and parents?
That's another great question. I'm so happy we talk about empathy because I believe this is the number one trait we should focus on for raising children and actually future leaders, because research shows that empathy is probably the one skill that is the most difficult or not possible to replace by AI. Everything else can be replaced, even this neurosurgeon skills, but it's difficult to replace the caring, full of empathy nature of a nurse or a kindergarten teacher. So I believe that empathy it's a must needed skill for children. And yes, storytelling is a wonderful way to teach that. And the way how to make it work is to show children the stories that are emotional, the stories that are difficult, that include difficult emotions. So we don't talk about emotion like sad, happy, excited. We talk about fear, lost, scared so much because you're bullied, because you're treated terribly. And then there are emotions like grief. There are difficult emotions, but when you show children that this happens in life, this happens to character from the book, this allow them to validate their own difficult and very strong feelings, to show them that it's okay to feel these feelings, and you kind of need to accept them because then you can move on to the next step, which is feeling positive feelings. You cannot feel anything positive without feeling really and acknowledging that there is a dark side of life. So this is this duality. I believe personally the books should not be too positive, too sweet, too cute. There has to be some big problem. There has to be some struggle because through this struggle, kids feel for the character. The real empathy is this feeling when you feel and understand someone's emotions. And the extension of empathy is compassion, is when you want to ease this pain of someone. So empathy really is to understand the feelings. That's why the books should be packed with the engaging storytelling that shows us character progression and feelings that he's going through, and give children difficult moment to discuss. That's why on purpose I put children in foster care. So the children who will be reading my book, they will ask question, but mom, what is foster children? What is foster care? And then look how much conversation this opens about this very tragic situation of children in foster care who doesn't have a mommy or daddy, who don't have the support system that usually children have in their biological home. They don't have really anything. They don't even have a home, right? Because they're taken from place to place like an object. So empathy is possible in the storytelling. And for me, when you show a really difficult situation that children are in, and then we need to show how they overcome it. So this is how we open this discussion, and this is a very good conversation starter with your children just by asking question, how do you think Loris feels? Why do you think he's so angry? Why do you think he has this black hoodie on his face and he doesn't talk to anyone? Just thinking and self-reflection is a first step to get into someone's internal world. And we show that by showing big struggles. And we should not shy away, sorry, from this topic in children's book. So difficult topics, opening conversation, showing something beyond a regular family, so foster family or adoption. And then this is where do we start with storytelling, with a good story that is just giving you some resolution in the end when you see some struggle overcame. That's how I did it. And I think I did a lot of conversation with my children and older children who are reading this book, and they feel so much for Loris. I see these emotions, and they always ask about foster care. And this will allow to change perception towards other children who are maybe more vulnerable at their school, right? Maybe children who are bullied, because we show bullying in my book, another difficult topic. So children start thinking, maybe I shouldn't judge someone too fast. Maybe I should help someone who is shy. Maybe I should ask before doing something. So it's just a focus on emotions and character overcoming difficult situation already make kids more having more empathy towards the character, feeling sad for character. It really helps to open up these conversations.
Right, right, right. That's amazing, amazing. There were so many wonderful parts about you ask before you judge, right? We have another episode in a previous episode we talked about connection before correction. So we want to try to understand from the other person's perspective. And it was like really wonderful how you said about empathy is non-replaceable. Let me repeat that. Empathy is non-replaceable. Everyone take this message. This is one very important. Empathy cannot be trade off with money, wealth, anything. So we want to help children learn this skill from a very, very, very young age. And this is, again, has been a wonderful, wonderful talk. I'm so glad I got to talk with you. And I hope all of our audience would love this video. Remember, developing emotional intelligence takes time and practice. By incorporating storytelling into your daily life, we can all build stronger relationships, communicate more effectively, and develop a deeper understanding of ourselves and others. Before we go, I would like to say thank you to our speaker again, and thank you for transforming children's lives through storytelling and writing. Thank you for sharing your wonderful story and your author journey. I hope we can all build an empathetic and compassionate world. Thank you again, and see you all in our next episode.
Thank you so much.